Well, hi again, everyone. It's Monday, and as we have been doing since quarantining began, every Monday we have somebody who's posting a brief video on our Facebook page to share some thoughts about discipleship as we head into another week. You know, following Jesus is all about living life the way Jesus lived, about living our lives according to his teachings and his values, regardless of what our circumstances are, regardless of what the world looks like at the moment. The Bible has a lot of things to teach us about following Jesus in times of trouble. Here's one of those teachings about discipleship in times of trouble. It comes from 2 Corinthians chapter 4. We are like clay jars in which this treasure is stored. The real power comes from God, not from us. We often suffer, but we are never crushed. Even when we don't know what to do, we never give up. In times of trouble, God is with us, and when we are knocked down, we get up again. This is because we know that God raised the Lord Jesus to life, and just as God raised Jesus, he will also raise us to life. Then he will bring us into his presence together. Now, this is a wonderful word about discipleship in times of trouble. And it's a picture not of people who are under the weight of fearfulness and anxiety or cowering, hoping to somehow get past this. It's a picture of people who have found a way of living with persistence, with perseverance, and with great hope. And that hope is rooted and based on what God has done in and through Jesus Christ and the promises that Jesus has made to us. When I choose to believe that Jesus has conquered death and risen in victory and holds the power and the keys of history and the future in his hands, then I believe and put my hope in the promises that Jesus has given me. They're promises that says my story doesn't end with sickness or death. My story is a never-ending story now that reaches into eternity, that I'm already living in the promises that Jesus has given to me. It's also promises that Jesus gave that one day he is going to come back to this earth. He is going to return, and when he does, he is going to put an end to the old order of things and usher in a new creation. He says, behold, all things will be new. And that's the promise that God has given us through Jesus Christ that gives us hope for the future, even in times of crisis. You know, it's kind of interesting how whenever the world has a moment of crisis like we're in right now, people start remembering God. People start reaching for their Bibles again. And there's already evidence that that's happening again in this current crisis. The Google search for how to pray has skyrocketed, as have people signing up for online Bible studies or online prayer devotionals. Even church attendance, online church attendance is starting to increase. People are looking for God again, wanting to understand his ways, wanting to understand what the Bible has to say about where this world is headed. And as followers of Jesus Christ, we are people who live with hope, who live in the anticipation that God is at work, even through times of crisis. There's another verse that I want to share this week with you that is found in 2 Peter. I'm just looking for it here on my phone. Sorry. Here it is. 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 15. And Peter was writing to believers who found themselves in a time of great crisis, persecution, great pressure. And here's what he says. In your hearts, revere Christ as Lord. Always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you to give the reason for the hope that you have. But do this with gentleness and respect. See, here's another word for us about discipleship in times of trouble. That this is a time where we can also be beacons of hope to people looking for hope. And to always be ready when the opportunity comes, when someone says, how can you be on top of everything that's going on right now? How can you, in the midst of the crisis, have hope and optimism? The Bible tells us, be ready to give the reason for your hope, that is Jesus and his promises to you. Well, this week, look for the opportunity to share the hope you have in Jesus Christ. In fact, why not live on the edge and ask Jesus, pray and ask that God will bring to you an opportunity to share the reason for your hope with someone who is looking for that hope. Let me finish off our time together with another reading from the book of Jeremiah about this hope we have. It's Jeremiah chapter 17, and it says, Blessed are those who trust in the Lord and have made the Lord their hope and confidence. Not the economy, not science, not a miracle vaccination, but have made the Lord their hope and confidence. They are like trees planted along a river bank, with roots that reach deep into the water. Such trees are not bothered by the heat or worried by long months of drought. Their leaves stay green and they never stop producing fruit. That is such a promise to us, that in this time when we're feeling the heat and we are in long months of quarantining or drought, that we still can have resilience and persistence and faithfulness as we follow Jesus Christ, and fruitfulness, that our leaves are green and that we are still producing fruit as we hold out to others the hope we have because of what Jesus Christ has promised us. Well, that's what I've got for you this week. I hope it encourages you and helps you as you continue to live your life for Jesus this week. And God bless you, God keep you, and bye for now.